Chalo, good morning, everyone. We've all felt it, haven't we? That horrible burning feeling in your chest after maybe one too many samosas. Acidity. Such a common problem, but the way we treat it, oh, that involves some really brilliant science. So let's get right into it.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? How can one tiny little pill stop that awful burning feeling for an entire day? You've all seen the ads on TV, right? One pill and you're sorted. It's not magic, it's pure amazing pharmacology. So, how does it really work?
You see, to understand the solution, you first have to understand the problem at its source. Just imagine your stomach is a massive, high-tech factory, an acid factory, working 24/7. And the most important machine in this whole factory is something we call the proton pump.
Now, for you future doctors, its proper scientific name is H plus K plus ATPase. This enzyme is the final crucial step. It's the last stop. Think of it like the main tap on the acid pipe. It doesn't matter what tells your stomach to make acid, spicy food, stress, whatever. This pump is what actually releases the acid. So, this pump is our main target.
Okay, so you have too much acid. What's the most simple, direct thing you can do? Well, for decades, the answer was very simple. Just neutralize it. And that brings us to our first line of defense, antacids. So look at this diagram. You can see a few ways to deal with heartburn, but let's focus on the antacid there at the bottom. It works by directly attacking the acid, the HCl, that's already swimming around in the stomach. It's like pouring a base on an acid to neutralize it. Simple, direct chemistry. But here is the critical point. Antacids give you very fast relief, no doubt about it. But, and this is a big but, they do absolutely nothing to stop the factory from producing more acid. The proton pumps just keep on working. So on an empty stomach, the effect is gone in maybe half an hour tops. The problem hasn't gone away. So we have a very clear picture, don't we? Antacids are all about instant speed, but for a very short duration. It's a quick fix. But for a smarter, more permanent solution, we need a different strategy altogether. We can't just keep cleaning up the mess. We need to go to the source and switch off the machine. And that brings us to the real heroes of our story today, the proton pump inhibitors, or as everyone calls them, PPIs. These drugs are not here to clean up. They are here to shut down the factory. This is the fundamental difference. You must understand this. Drugs like omeprazole, which is the classic example, the prototype PPI, they are powerful inhibitors. They can totally abolish HCl secretion because they target the machinery itself, the proton pump. They don't fight the acid, they prevent it from even being born.
Now for the really clever bit. I mean, this is truly brilliant. How does one simple pill survive the intense acid of the stomach, travel through your whole body, and then find and shut down only these tiny, specific pumps? Let's follow its incredible journey. It's a masterpiece of drug design. Right. Listen carefully. This is fantastic. First, the pill has a special bodyguard, a protective layer called an enteric coating. This stops the stomach acid from destroying it, so it passes through unharmed. Second, it takes a little detour. It gets absorbed into the bloodstream from the intestine. From the blood, it travels all the way back to the stomach wall, homing in on the acid-producing cells like a guided missile. Now for the genius part. The drug is actually inactive. It's sleeping. It only gets activated when it enters the tiny, super acidic channels inside these cells. The acid itself is the key that turns the drug on. How smart is that? And finally, once it's activated, bam, it binds irreversibly to the proton pump, shutting it down for good. So, a question should pop into your head. If the bond is irreversible, meaning permanent, then how does the effect ever wear off? Well, the thing is, the drug never lets go. Your body has to build a completely new proton pump from scratch. And how long does that take? Around 18 hours. And that, my friends, is why one single pill gives you relief for a whole day. It's not about how long the drug is in your blood. It's about how long it takes to rebuild the machinery. This incredible mechanism has made PPIs the frontline soldiers in the war against all kinds of acid-related diseases. They've completely replaced the older medicines, and for a very good reason. Let's see just how widely they are used in the clinic. And just look at this list. It is long, and it's impressive. For common things like peptic ulcers and GERD, to very serious issues like bleeding ulcers or stress ulcers in ICU patients. And even for rare conditions where the stomach makes way too much acid, like Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. For all of these, PPIs are the drugs of choice. They are versatile, powerful, and just incredibly effective.
And this is not just an opinion. The evidence is very clear. The medical textbooks all agree. PPIs are simply more effective than the older drugs like H2 blockers. And look at this. The pain relief is not just good, it's described as excellent. And it's fast, usually within just 1 or 2 days. This has completely changed how we manage these painful conditions for patients.
Now, PPIs are considered very safe drugs, but it is always important, especially as future doctors, to look at the whole picture, isn't it? No medicine is without some things to consider, especially when we talk about using it for a very long time.
So let's be very clear about this. For most people, for short-term use, PPIs are incredibly safe. However, there is some association, some data, that with very high doses over a long time, they might be linked with reduced calcium absorption. It's just something to be aware of. And here we come to a very important twist in our story. We've spent all this time talking about controlling acid, but what if acid isn't the only villain in the story? What if there's an accomplice? Meet Helicobacter pylori. This is a remarkable little bacterium that has actually adapted to survive in the extremely acidic environment of the stomach, and it is a major factor. Look at this statistic. In up to 90% of patients with duodenal ulcers, we find this organism. So now a huge part of ulcer therapy is getting rid of this bacteria, often using PPIs to help the antibiotics work even better.
So, we've mastered the proton pump. We've learned how to fight H. pylori. This brings me to a final question I want you all to think about. What comes next? As we understand more and more about the microbiome, that whole complex world of bacteria in our gut, where will our focus shift? That is a thought to carry with you. Thank you.